Happy Thursday to all my winners. Big day as the PGA Championship gets underway here in just a little bit this morning. I'm John Cole. I'm your host here for Break the Board podcast, daily podcast where we break down the whole card in sports, give you the top gambling analysis and our insight and trends and leans as we go into each and every sport: golf, NASCAR, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, Major League Baseball, and we'll do the same thing when football comes around. As 13 years in a row now, I've been at least 150 games over 500. So before we get into last night, Bet Online is your number one source for all your basketball info, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds and lines, including their latest player props for this year's pro basketball playoffs. Bet Online is always your sports information headquarters this season, as we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs: basketball, MLB, NHL, hockey, UFC, and boxing. Bet Online is the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games you can play right from your home. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use our promo code, capital B, BLEAV, BELIEVE, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. That's really cool. We get a 50% deposit so we can hit them up. So as I get started this morning, I want to talk about last night. Obviously, Missoula and my Boston Celtics. I mean, this team, they drive me nuts. Absolutely nuts. They're down. I say there's no way they're coming back and win game 6 and game 7 at Philly. I don't care. They show up, they show out. Now, part of that, Doc Rivers, we know Doc Rivers, he can't get it done. But you think, all right, maybe Missoula and the Celtics, they stop playing with their food. Now they're on where they need to be. They get up 13 last night. We have them in the moneyline parlay to finish off with the Nuggets. They're up 13 in the third quarter and totally fold like a lawn chair in the middle of a hurricane, right? I don't understand this team. I don't understand all the talent. Of course, Jimmy Butler had 35. Bam had 20. Vincent, Strus, Martin, Lowry, evenly spread 15, all those guys. There was a Kevin Love sighting last night with 18. Look, Tatum pours in 30. Jaylen Brown, 22. Brogdon, 19. The Heat win 123-116, go up 1-0. Am I mad we lost the bet? Yes. I'm more mad as a Celtics fan. I just cannot figure them out. I just don't get it. I don't understand why they struggle so much, right? They just go through these laws, and then at the end of the game, it's like they try to get serious. Bro, You had them on the ropes, and then there's one guy, Jimmy Butler. One guy, right? But not only did they not contain Butler, they're giving Bam these little mid-range jumpers that he's hitting. Robert Williams and Horford, Bam ate them up. When Tatum gets 30, it's kind of like AD getting 40. It's almost like you wasted the performance. So Boston's in a lot of trouble. I was like, man, Jimmy, he's acting really cocky at the mic. The day before he was like, they felt really good and he had a grin on his face. And I'm like, man, Miami's really feeling themselves. Well, egg on my face, because they came out and played tough. I mean, and look, the NBA and all your major networks are going to be on their head if they have to talk about a Nuggets Heat series. But we'll see what happens. Game 2 tomorrow night, Friday night. Look, Boston, it's a must win. Game 2 is now a must win. They go down 0-2, it's a wrap. And I tell you what, this series, this third time in 4 years they've hooked up in this. Last year they had to win a game 7 against them. I'm not sure. Again, this Boston team isn't the same. Ime Udoka, I said this on our podcast, our weekly podcast, Bustin' Chops, Calling Shots, which comes out today. Really good episode. You guys will like it. Go through some NFL and stuff. But I don't understand like Missoula throwing clipboards, trying to act hard like he's some badass. Dude, you suck. Like if Ime Udoka was coaching this team, Boston would look totally different. They would look totally different. But right now, I mean, they look pathetic. And Missoula, look, again, he might be a really nice guy. I said this last night, though. He's your first job can't be a team that was just in the or just in the NBA Finals the year before, unless you got some season pedigree behind you, and he just doesn't have any. Like he doesn't have any. So we'll see what happens. But man, as a Celtics fan, I mean, I'm worried. One thing's for sure: if Boston were fortunate enough. Because I feel like it would be, they're the better team, but I don't know if they can get by Miami. But I'll tell you this much. If they get by Miami, I don't think they can beat the Lakers or the Nuggets. I think they're more talented. Missoula can't outcoach Malone or Darvin Ham. I can tell you that right now. Lakers, Nuggets, they're winning that series in 6. Speaking of Lakers Nuggets, game 2 tonight, 8:30 on ESPN. We get to see the big change here, right? The Lakers have figured it out. The Lakers have got the Nuggets on the rope. I mean, I've never heard this. You're down 0-1 and you got the other team on the ropes. So Rui Hachimura is going to be, I remember this as a kid. They had Gerald Wilkins for the Cavs. They called him the Jordan Stopper, and Jordan went up and lit him for 40 every game. I expect the same here. I expect nothing different from Jokic in tonight's game. I expect there to be nothing any different. Now, is he going to pull down 21 rebounds? All right, we can debate that a little bit. I'm not, I'm not going to argue that. That is a little high. But from a point standpoint, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with that. Right now, over under 29.5, even money to the over, juiced at 130 to the under for Jokic's player prop. I think he gets 30 again. I think Jamal Murray's over 25 again. Right? So, like I said, AD's not going to give you 40 again tonight. And I don't see Austin Reeves giving you 23 again. Is Rui going to give you 17? Are they going to shoot 55% from the floor again? Are they going to shoot 47, 48% from 3 again? Are they going to shoot 89% from the free throw line? So, again, all day long yesterday on all the major networks, a couple of the sports podcasts I listened to, sports talk radio, I'm in it all day long. All these people are just in love with the Lakers. And I don't think they can't truly believe this. They just can't truly believe that the Lakers found out some cheat code. That just can't happen. I can't subscribe to that. LeBron, his over-under props tonight, over under 24.5 points. I like the over in that because I think LeBron will try to take control. I definitely think he doesn't want to go down 2-0. In their first 2 series against the Grizzlies and the Warriors, they stole game 1. So not getting game 1, I don't think it's a big deal for the Lakers. And like I said before the series started, I think when it goes back to Denver for game 5, it's 2-2, each team defending home court till that point. So we'll see what happens. Anthony Davis, his over-under points, 25.5, juiced to 118 to the over. Rebounds for Anthony Davis, 12.5. I actually like the over on the rebounds for Anthony Davis, juiced to minus 120. I was looking, I wrote this down. FanDuel does some same game parlays. I'm not a fan of them. But this one did kind of catch my eye when I looked at it. It had, Caldwell Pope, 2+ threes, Nikola Jokic, 25 points, Jamal Murray, 2+ made threes, Anthony Davis, 20+ points, LeBron, 20+ points, and LeBron 6+ assists, right? So I was like, man, that one's, that's pretty good value there when you look at that. So, be interesting to see, how that plays out. PGA Championship, it kicks off this morning. Scotty Scheffler, John Rahm, the two favorites there. Gave those out as part of the 5-pack. Patrick Cantlay at 19-1. I like him. Tony Finau, 21-1. Colin Morikawa, 34-1. Those were my leans. Again, some guys to watch out for. Victor Hovland at 32-1. Sungjae M at 36-1. Gary Woodland, I said this last night on the podcast. The guys laughed at me, but Gary Woodland at 90-1. I think that's good value, man. I really do. I like his game. I think it's suited for this course, so we'll see what happens. And Patrick Reed at 90-1. I think you can take a flyer on that and maybe have some success there. Florida Panthers and the Carolina Hurricanes, they get started tonight. Game 1. Florida rolls in. They've been hot as a firecracker, knocking off the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs to get to this point. In the last couple matchups, Carolina's won the last 2, but before that, Florida had won the last 5. So last 10, they've split out 5-5. I think you're going to get an awesome series here. Right now, Carolina minus 145, Florida plus 120 on the comeback. Over under setting at 6. The under is 5-0 in the Panthers' last 5 overall. 5-0 in the Panthers' last 5 versus the Eastern Conference. Duh, because their last 5 have been the Eastern Conference. 5-0 in their last 5 versus a team with a winning record. Hurricanes 0-8 in their last 8 conference finals game. Pretty rough. The over 5-1 in the Hurricanes' last 7 games after a win. The Panthers 14-37-2. The last 53 meetings these two teams have hooked up in Carolina. Panthers 5-2 the last 7 meetings overall. The favored 53-25 the last 78. Again, there's a lot of ways to bet a series. A lot of different ways you can bet series. When you get down to conference finals like this in hockey, though, I think it's a really good thing to look at and say, okay, not going to bet game 1. Let's see what happens. And maybe we find a better opportunity in game 2 or game 3. Again, you don't have to make a bet in every play of the series, right? Now, if you love the series and you love how it unfolds and it starts to unfold like you think it will, then great. But let's just say Carolina, you're laying $1.45. The line's going to be the same game 2. Minus 140, 145. Panthers plus 120, 125 on the comeback. The line's going to be the same in game 2, regardless of what happens game 1. So, if you like Carolina, maybe you wait, right? I mean, Carolina for the series is minus 145. For the game, they're minus 145. So rather than bet the series, bet Carolina game 1. If they win, you made your money. If they lose, no harm, no foul. They got to win game 2 because they can't go back to Florida down 0-2. You just come back with a double unit in game 2 to make up for the game 1 loss and win the money you wanted to win to start with, right? So that's kind of a philosophy I like. Now, if you take Carolina game 1 and they win, great. You set out game 2 and you actually pull for Carolina to go up 2-0. Why, you may ask? Well, if they go up 2-0 and Florida's going back home for game 3, Florida can't go down 3-0. So now you have a great spot game 3 for Florida. So sometimes you don't have to bet a game, but you're looking at the game to set up your next bet. I say that all the time. NFL, you find those sandwich games, right? Those down games where a team's laying a bunch of points because they're playing a lesser opponent and they're sandwiched in by 2 really good ones. Again, you don't have to bet every game. A lot of times it's spot betting, and that can really pay dividends for you in the long run. For this series to go 4 games, 6-1, 5 games, 2.5-1, 6 games plus 195, for it to be a 7-game series plus 195. I'm going to say I said Carolina last night. I'm going to say Carolina in 6. All right. Series spreads, if you got Carolina -1.5, it's +125. So I don't really like that. That's not enough good value for me. So Hurricanes, Panthers, I'm probably going to set that out tonight. And like I said, actually root for the upset, root for Florida to cross the finish line there so we could wheel back and take the Hurricanes in game 2. Western Conference Finals gets underway Friday night. Dallas Stars and the Vegas Knights. I think that's going to be a fantastic series. I think it's going to be a long 7-game series. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll break that matchup down tomorrow, as well as breaking down Boston and Miami as they get locked up for game 2 as well. That now has turned into an absolute must-win for the Boston Celtics. Short card in Major League Baseball today. Last night, we got some luck there late. We finished 2-1. Of course, the Celtics ruin us from having a plus money day as we break even 2-2. But 2-1, we got the win with the Toronto Blue Jays, the walk-off 3-run homer. Just a great game by both Garrett Cole and Chris Bassett. Bassett has just been lights out, man. Gosh, that guy's been good. The New York Mets in 10 innings scored more runs than they've scored all year. Helped them and us lift past the Tampa Bay Rays 8-7. I want to talk about the Rays because I've bet against them a lot. And people are like, oh man, you can't go against the Rays. Can't go against the Rays. Let me explain something to you, folks. If they finish as the best team in baseball, they're still going to lose 55 to 70 games. I mean, think about it. Every year we're like, oh man, this team won 90 games. They're amazing. You do realize that like that means they lost like 72, 70. Like it's not like they're invincible. This isn't NFL where the Eagles can roll 13-1, right? It doesn't work that way. Baseball's a long season. There's going to be losses. Stuff happens all the time. So, also on the diamond, we lost the Washington Nationals, had the lead, gave it away, then had some opportunities, just didn't work out for us. If we're looking at leans that I said yesterday, I like to look back at this and just say, okay, where was my handicapping at? I had a lean with the Twins. I was a day late on them. They lost 7-3. I had a lean with the Rockies. They win 11-6. Had a lean with the Orioles. They won 3-1. Had a lean with the Red Sox. They won 12-3. Yeah, so that's 3-1 on leans. The Cubbies, they ended up blowing that. Man, what a heartbreaking loss for the Cubs. Heartbreaking loss. So anyway, that's how our leans rolled. Today, again, short card, some early games here on the slate. The first one, 12:35 p.m. on the East Coast. Los Angeles Angels against the Baltimore Orioles. Right now, the Orioles laying $1.42. Comeback +120 on the Angels. The Angels will send Tyler Anderson, the southpaw, to the hill, 1-0 with a 5.26. He's averaging 5 1/3 innings pitched. Tyler Wells will get the call for the Orioles. He's been really good. 3-1 with a 2.68, 0.72 whip, throwing 6 innings per. Again, the Orioles have won the last 2 in this matchup. Angels 1-9 the last 10 in Baltimore. When you look into the pitching matchup, Rendon, he's out with that growing. Mateo, the shortstop of the Orioles, he's questionable with a leg injury. Orioles have really been playing good baseball. The last 3, Anderson 0-0, but the Angels are 2-1 in those starts. He's throwing 6 innings per, 3.06 ERA. Tyler Wells 2-0, and the Orioles are 2-1 in his starts. He's averaging 6 per 2 with a 2.50. Anderson, his last 7 starts, the Angels have went 4-3. He's been better the last 3 outings, though. He really struggled early, but last outing, beating Cleveland 5-4. He pitched 6 innings, gave up 3 runs. Before that, he gave up 2 runs in the outing. then 1 run the outing before that. He's never faced the Orioles. Tyler Wells, on the other hand, he's been electric. He's won, the Orioles have won 5 of his last 6 starts. He's only given up more than 2 runs once in that stretch of the last 5. He pitched against the Angels last July 8th, going 4 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 3 strikeouts. Look, the Orioles have been playing really, really well. The Angels still got Trout and Ohtani in that lineup, even though Rendon is out. So not sure if I'm going to play this one. The Orioles have owned them, but and Tyler Wells has been incredible. But for some reason, at first glance, I don't know why, but Anderson plus the 125 just, I kind of like that. But again, it's early. I got like 7 hours before game time. So, Tampa Bay Rays will try to bounce back against the New York Mets. They'll send Bradley to the hill 3-0 with a 3.52 ERA. He's averaging 5 per. McGill will get the call for the Mets 4-2 with a 4.02. The Mets a much needed win yesterday. This one's minus 110. Either way, in the last 3 starts, Bradley, again, 3-0, 3.52 ERA. McGill, 4.11 ERA. He's 1-1, but 2-1 are the Mets in his outings. So, again, not really a lean, but right now, without putting in all the rest of the work, quick lean to the Tampa Bay Rays. They still scored 7 runs. You know what I mean? They got the number 1 offense in baseball. So, Washington Nationals against the Miami Marlins. Again, misery loves company. We all like that. It's what that Kenny Chesney song, You and Tequila. We always love the things that are worst for us. And that's me with the Nationals, because for some reason I like them again. Tyler Williams gets the call, or Taylor Williams rather, 1-1 with a 4.23 ERA. Perez gets the call for Miami, 0-0 with a 3.86. Earned run average, Nationals now dropped to 7-23 the last 30 meetings and 1-8 the last 9 in Miami. Just brutal. Why I like them, God only knows. Williams in his last 3, 0-0, but the Nats are 3-0 in those starts. He's averaging about 4 innings per, a 1.33 whip, 4.50 ERA. Perez has only had the 1 start where he went 4 2/3 innings. Williams in his last 10, the Nats have won 4 or 5 of those, but he's been sporadic. He gives up 4 runs, then no runs, then 5 runs, and then 1 in his last outing against the Mets. And in those last 3 starts, earned runs, last 3 starts against Miami, he's won them all, but the last one coming August 31st of 2021, where he pitched 4 1/3, giving up no runs. So kind of hard to look at there. And again, Perez, his only start was against Cincinnati, where he pitched well, but Miami lost the game 7-4. Moving to the next one, Cleveland Indians and the Chicago White Sox. White Sox have taken the first 2 games of this series. Indians will send Allen, the southpaw, to the hill, 1-1 with a 3.43 ERA. Cease will get the call. I think he's the White Sox best pitcher. 2-2 with a 4.86, averaging about 4 per. Excuse me. Over under set at 8. Whip for Cease is 1.45. The over 3-0-1 in the Indians' last 4 games versus a starter with a whip greater than 1.30. So that goes to that trend, but they're also 0-4 in their last 4 road games versus a right-handed starter are the Indians. So they don't like the right pimp hand is strong against them. So looking at last 3 matchups as we roll through this pretty quick, Allen 0-1, but the Indians are 1-2 in his last 3 starts, 4.20 ERA. And Cease, who started hot, really thought he took advantage of the pitch clock. He's a rhythm pitcher, and it really helped him. He really fell off 0-1 with 2-1 record of the White Sox in those starts, but he's got a 6.19 ERA. So he just has not pitched well. Allen has had 4 starts, 3, 2, 2, and 1 are the runs he's given up this year. So he's pitched decent. Cease has lost 4 of his last 6 after starting out 3-0. His last outing against Houston, he went 6 innings, didn't give up a run, but before that, the Royals bombed him for 7. Twins got 4 on him. Tampa Bay scored 6. Tampa Bay scored 3. So it's really hard to figure out what to make there. Lifetime, 5 wins, 4 losses, 2-2 in his last 4 against the Indians. But in his last 3 starts, 1 run, 0 runs, 0 runs, 4 runs, 0 runs in his last 5, rather. So other than that 4 spot in his last 5 outings, he's been pretty stout against them. Excuse me. But look, I can't lay $1.45 with the White Sox. You kidding me? I mean, I know they're playing the Indians that can't score, but I can't lay $1.45. No way. Yankees and Blue Jays. We won our money yesterday with the Blue Jays against Cole. Cortez gets the call to southpaw for the Yankees. Barrios gets the call for the Blue Jays. Again, the Yankees have been dominant in Tampa Bay historically. 4-2 in the last 6, 5-3 in the last 8. But Cortez, when a team wins on a walk-off like the Blue Jays did last night, I don't like taking the other team. There's just something about it. I feel like that devastates people, but look, I can't really take Cortez. The Yankees are 2-1 as a team in his last 3, but he's got a 9.64 ERA. But look, Barrios has been pitching better, but he's got a 4.67. So really hard for me to subscribe to that. Now, Cortez has pitched well against the Blue Jays. He's got 4 starts lifetime. The Yankees are 2-2 in those starts. His last one coming August 21st of last year. He went 6 innings, gave up 1 earned run. In his 4 outings against the Blue Jays, he's given up 1 run, 2 runs, no runs, 2 runs. So he has pitched well. Barrios, the Blue Jays have won 3 of his last 4. He had a shutout, gave up 2 twice, and a 5-run spot in the loss. But against the Yankees, his last outing last September, he went 5 1/3. Gave up 5 runs. He's only given up less than 3 runs 3 times, to them in his last 10. 2017 was one, 2019 was another, and then last August he went 6 2/3, giving up 1 run. Just at first glance, I don't like the game. Again, the trend would be, okay, let's go wheel back with Toronto here. If I had to play the game, like if I absolutely had to play it, I would take the Blue Jays. But again, we won our money on this series last night. I'm just going to stay away. St. Louis Cardinals, red hot, host one of the best teams in baseball. Dodgers coming in. Dodgers laying $1.48. Cardinals plus 125 on the comeback. Urias has been lights out for the Dodgers. Dodgers 11-9 on the road. Cardinals 8-14 at home, but the Cardinals have been much better as of late. Arenado's been playing lights out, just crushing the ball. Urias 5-3 with a 3.61, 1.07 whip. Wainwright 0-0 with a 7.2 ERA, has really struggled there. Dodgers 0-4. 0-4 in Urias' last 4 starts versus the National League Central. So that trend holds here. Dodgers 5-0 the last 5 times they've hooked up with the Cardinals. So they've really owned them as far as that goes. Muncy is questionable with a knee today. So we'll see how that works out. Now, the Cardinals have, like I said, they've gotten hot. They went all the way up to the 9th best offense in baseball. Dodgers still sitting at the 4th. Defensively, though, Cardinals 18th, Dodgers 7th. Like I said, Dodgers have been one of the most consistent teams in baseball to start. In their last 3, Urias is 2-0, but the Dodgers are actually 3-0 in his starts. 6 2/3 with a 2.29 ERA. Only 2 starts for Wainwright. He's got 2 no decisions, but the Cardinals are 1-1 in those outings. 5 innings pitched, 1.7 whip, 7.2 ERA. When you look, Urias' last 10 starts, he's won 7 of them. He was a little bumpy earlier in this year, giving up 6 to Pittsburgh and 5 to Chicago, but he's really settled down. His last 3 outings, 2 runs, 1 run. He's never faced the Cardinals. Wainwright, again, this year, 1-1. But Wainwright's given up 4 runs in each of his starts. Against the Dodgers, he's lost his last 3. 4 runs, 0 runs, 1 run, 4 runs, 0 runs, 0 runs, 6 runs, 1 run, 2 runs, 3 runs, dating all the way back to 2013. But again, going back his last 3 starts, the latest being October 6th of 2021, he's lost his last 3 against the Dodgers. Again, really hard to step in front of the Dodgers, but the Cardinals are red hot right now, man. They really are red hot. They're hitting the ball. I'm not sure if I'm going to play the game, but if you play the game, I think the only way you can go is taking the Cardinals plus 130-ish. So again, we'll look at it. I may take a pass today. That's a really good possibility that I don't have a play on a Thursday. Sometimes on these short days, it's hard to find a good play on the board. But again, I want no part of the White Sox game. Really want no part of the Blue Jay Yankee game. My leans, I like some dogs. If I had to bet, I kind of got to lean to the Cardinals, lean to the Angels, lean to the Nationals, and then the Rays minus 110 both ways. I think that's good value. But again, you don't know, does that comeback and the Mets scoring 8 runs? Got to feel like they ain't scored 8 runs the whole season. They do it in one night, get the walk-off 3-run homer. You got to be careful because sometimes that'll catapult the team to go on a little 5, 6, 7 game win streak. So even though it's enticing with low money, I can tell you this, everybody and their mother's going to bet the Rays, and I don't like being on the same bus everybody else is in. So we'll have to look at that, see how that plays out. But again, Bet Online is your number one source for all your basketball info, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest player reports for this year's pro basketball playoffs. Bet Online is always your sports information headquarters this season, as we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs: basketball, MLB, NHL hockey playoffs, UFC, and boxing. Bet Online is the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games. You can play right from your home. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use our promo code BLEAV, capital B, BLEAV, BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Get that money in there. Again, PGA Championship tees off here in about the next hour on the East Coast time. Should be a phenomenal tournament. We got Nuggets, Lakers, game 2 tonight. Can't wait to watch that. Hopefully we can find a value play in baseball on the board. If so, you guys will get the notification on that. If you're not a member, please go email me, john@bccsports.com, john@bccsports.com. Follow us on Twitter @bccsports. Again, I appreciate all the love, everything you guys do, following and supporting the show. Remember, God gave you another great day. Go out and do something with it. Keep pushing forward no matter what happens. Keep driving. Keep getting closer to your goal. Your beautiful future that you have is in the future. It's not behind you, so stop looking in the rear view, all right? Love you, my winners. Have a happy Thursday.